Gura Gura no Mi. The Gura Gura no Mi is a Paramecia-type devil fruit originally used by Edward Newgate and later stolen by Marshall D. Teach. It grants the ability to generate vibrations so powerful they fracture the air, destabilize landmasses, and manipulate the ocean itself. It is widely regarded as the most destructive devil fruit ever recorded. The fruit functions by creating vibration points in space. When the user strikes, shockwaves ripple outward, bypassing conventional durability by attacking structural integrity rather than surface toughness. These vibrations can be focused into precise blows for individual opponents or expanded to devastate entire battlefields. At large scale, the Gura Gura no Mi becomes a world-level threat. It can generate tsunamis, tilt islands, split coastlines, and destabilize entire regions. The fruit requires no setup, conditions, or special counters. Once activated, destruction is immediate and unavoidable, which is why it has been explicitly stated to possess the power to destroy the world. Yami Yami no Mi. The Yami Yami no Mi is a Logia-type devil fruit used by Marshall D. Teach, better known as Blackbeard. Unlike all other Logia fruits, it does not grant intangibility. Instead, it forces the user to absorb everything directly, including attacks, matter, and pain. Darkness produced by this fruit behaves like a gravitational force rather than a natural element. The core ability of the Yami Yami no Mi is gravitational domination. The user can pull enemies, terrain, and attacks toward themselves, crushing or restraining targets once they are caught. Entire structures can be swallowed into darkness and later expelled in a destroyed state. This makes distance control almost impossible for opponents, as the fruit forcibly collapses space between combatants. Its most broken ability is Devil Fruit Nullification. Any Devil Fruit user touched by the darkness instantly loses access to their powers, regardless of type. Logia intangibility, Zoan transformations, and Paramecia abilities are all shut down equally. Although the user takes increased damage and pain as a drawback, this fruit deletes the opponent's advantage entirely, turning every fight into a one-sided confrontation of raw endurance. Magu Magu no Mi. The Magu Magu no Mi is a Logia-type devil fruit used by Sakazuki, also known as Akainu. This fruit grants the ability to create, control, and fully transform into magma, an element defined by extreme heat, density, and destructive force. It is explicitly stated in canon to possess the highest offensive power among all devil fruits. In combat, the user can launch magma fists, create volcanic eruptions, and rain molten projectiles across massive areas. Magma does not simply burn targets. It melts, crushes, and vaporizes them. Even when attacks land successfully, prolonged contact with magma can destroy weapons and severely injure attackers, making direct engagement extremely dangerous. As a Logia, the user is immune to non-hockey-based attacks and can regenerate by reforming their magma body. Beyond combat, the Magu Magu no Mi permanently alters environments. Prolonged use can change an island's climate into a volcanic wasteland, rendering it uninhabitable. The fruit's strength lies in inevitability. Anything it touches is erased. Hie Hie no Mi. The Hie Hie no Mi is a Logia-type devil fruit used by Kuzan, also known as Aokiji. This fruit grants the ability to create, control, and transform into ice, allowing the user to freeze matter instantly on contact. Unlike many elemental fruits, ice spreads rapidly and remains active, making it a powerful tool for both offense and battlefield control. In combat, the user can freeze opponents solid in a single moment, immobilizing them regardless of physical strength. Entire battlefields can be locked down as the ground, air moisture, and surrounding structures are converted into ice. Water is especially vulnerable, allowing the user to freeze oceans, tsunamis, and naval fleets instantly, eliminating one of the greatest environmental threats in the world of One Piece. The Hie Hie no Mi is especially overpowered due to its scale and permanence. Prolonged use can permanently alter climate and terrain, turning entire regions into frozen wastelands. As a Logia, the user is immune to non-haki attacks and can regenerate by reforming ice, making the fruit both oppressive and extremely difficult to counter once activated. Pika Pika no Mi. The Pika Pika no Mi is a Logia-type devil fruit used by Borsellino, also known as Kizaru. This fruit grants the ability to create, control, and transform into light, making the user one of the fastest beings in the One Piece world. Movement, attacks, and repositioning occur at light speed, rendering normal reaction time meaningless. In combat, the user fires laser beams capable of producing massive explosions and can reform instantly after dispersing into photons. Light can reflect off surfaces, allowing attacks to come from unpredictable angles and distances. This makes traditional positioning and cover ineffective against the fruit. Defensively, the Pika Pika no Mi allows the user to evade attacks by turning into light and relocating instantly. As a Logia, non-haki attacks pass through harmlessly. Combined with its unmatched speed, the fruit overwhelms opponents before they can perceive, respond, or adapt. Doku Doku no Mi. The Doku Doku no Mi is a Paramecia-type devil fruit used by Magellan. This fruit grants the ability to generate and control lethal poisons in liquid, gas, and solid forms. The poison spreads rapidly and remains effective regardless of an opponent's physical strength or durability. In combat, the user can coat their body in venom, create massive poison constructs, and contaminate entire environments. Direct contact is often fatal, and even indirect exposure can incapacitate high-level fighters within moments. The fruit excels at area denial, making escape or prolonged engagement extremely dangerous. What makes the Doku Doku no Mi especially overpowered is inevitability. Poison bypasses traditional defenses and continues to work after initial contact. The user is immune or highly resistant to their own toxins, allowing unrestricted deployment. Once an area is contaminated, opponents are forced into retreat or death, making this fruit devastating in enclosed spaces and large-scale engagements. Ope Ope no Mi. The Ope Ope no Mi is a Paramecia-type devil fruit used by Trafalgar Law. It allows the user to create a spherical spatial field called a room, within which they gain absolute control over objects, terrain, and living beings. Physical durability, size, and conventional combat rules lose relevance inside this space. Within the room, the user can slice bodies apart without causing immediate harm, remove organs while keeping them functional, teleport targets, and swap positions between objects or people. These effects bypass armor and toughness entirely, turning the battlefield into a surgical domain where the user dictates outcomes through precision rather than brute force. The fruit's most infamous ability is the perennial youth operation. By sacrificing their own life, the user can grant eternal youth to another person, an ability with no known counter or reversal. While maintaining a room consumes stamina, as long as it remains active, the fruit offers near-total battlefield dominance. Soru Soru no Mi. The Soru Soru no Mi is a Paramecia-type devil fruit used by Charlotte Linlin, better known as Big Mom. This fruit grants direct control over human souls, turning fear into a measurable weakness. Any individual who feels fear toward the user becomes vulnerable to having portions of their soul extracted instantly. Once a soul is removed, the user can steal lifespan at will, aging victims to death, or leaving them weakened in seconds. Stolen souls can be implanted into objects, terrain, animals, or elements, creating sentient servants called homies. Fire, lightning, weapons, and even buildings can be given life and loyalty, allowing entire environments to become hostile battlefields. The fruit also allows self-enhancement. Souls can be infused into the user's own body to accelerate healing, reinforce bones, or temporarily increase size and strength. Because it converts emotion into authority and lifespan into a resource, the Soru Soru no Mi enables domination without direct combat and scales endlessly in large populations. Niku Niku no Mi. The Niku Niku no Mi is a Paramecia-type devil fruit used by Bartholomew Kuma. This fruit grants the ability to repel anything the user touches using paw-shaped pads on their hands, including physical objects, attacks, people, and even abstract concepts. The repulsion ignores mass, speed, and durability, making it absolute rather than force-based. In combat, the user can deflect incoming attacks instantly, regardless of scale or power. Enemies can be repelled across extreme distances in seconds, effectively removing them from the battlefield. This makes the fruit both a perfect defensive tool and a method of battlefield removal, rather than direct elimination. The most overpowered application of the Niku Niku no Mi is conceptual manipulation. The user can extract pain, fatigue, and memories from one person and transfer them to another. This allows injuries to be redistributed, damage to be weaponized, and suffering to be imposed without physical strikes, making the fruit one of the most versatile and unfair Paramecia abilities ever introduced. Goro Goro no Mi. The Goro Goro no Mi is a Logia-type devil fruit used by Enel, granting absolute control over lightning. The user can generate, manipulate, and fully transform into electricity, becoming intangible and capable of moving at lightning speed. This alone places the fruit among the most lethal and hard-to-counter abilities in one piece. Offensively, the fruit allows island-level lightning strikes, precision blasts, and area-wide electrical attacks conducted through terrain and metal. Speed and range are so extreme that most opponents are struck before they can react. The fruit also grants electromagnetic sensing, allowing the user to detect movement, sound, and presence across massive distances. Defensively and internally, the Goro Goro no Mi provides survivability through intangibility and self-resuscitation by restarting the heart. Outside of rare natural counters such as rubber or exceptionally advanced hockey, the fruit offers overwhelming speed, awareness, and destructive power, making it one of the most unfair devil fruits ever introduced. Zushi Zushi no Mi. The Zushi Zushi no Mi is a Paramecia-type devil fruit used by Issho, better known as Fujitora. This fruit grants full control over gravity, allowing the user to manipulate gravitational force in any direction and intensity. Strength, speed, and durability offer little defense when gravity itself becomes the weapon. In battle, the user can pin enemies to the ground with crushing force, lift massive objects effortlessly, or suspend targets in midair. Movement becomes nearly impossible when gravity is multiplied beyond survivable limits. The fruit also allows long-range devastation, including pulling meteors from space and directing them onto the battlefield. What makes the Zushi Zushi no Mi truly overpowered is inevitability. Gravity cannot be dodged, blocked, or resisted through conventional means. Entire battlefields can be neutralized instantly, making this fruit one of the most oppressive control-based abilities in the franchise. Mori Mori no Mi. The Mori Mori no Mi is a Logia-type devil fruit used by Aramaki, also known as Admiral Ryokugyu. It grants the ability to create, control, and transform into plant life, making it a rare Logia based on solid, living matter rather than a fluid or gaseous element. The user can manifest trees, vines, roots, and vegetation directly from their body or the surrounding terrain. The fruit's core strength lies in absorption and regeneration. By impaling targets with plant growth, the user can drain nutrients and bodily fluids, rapidly weakening or killing opponents while restoring their own stamina. Even after sustaining heavy damage, the user can regenerate by growing new plant-based bodies, including sprouting directly from the ground. The Mori Mori no Mi also offers powerful battlefield control. Forests can be generated instantly to restrain enemies and reshape terrain. Although the user lacks traditional Logia intangibility due to the solid nature of plants, they retain Logia regeneration and immunity to non-hockey attacks. Fire remains the fruit's primary weakness, though rapid growth and recovery can partially offset this limitation. Tori Tori no Mi, Model Phoenix. The Tori Tori no Mi, Model Phoenix is a mythical Zoan-type devil fruit used by Marco. This fruit allows the user to transform into a phoenix or a phoenix-human hybrid, granting enhanced physical strength, flight, and access to regenerative blue flames. Unlike normal fire, these flames do not burn, they heal. The primary strength of this fruit is regeneration. Injuries that would incapacitate or kill other fighters are rapidly healed, allowing the user to continuously re-enter combat. This makes Marco exceptionally difficult to defeat, even when facing top-tier opponents. Damage is not negated, but erased through accelerated recovery. The fruit also extends its utility beyond the user. The blue flames can be applied to allies, granting temporary healing and recovery in the middle of battle. While its raw offensive power is lower than some destructive devil fruits, its near immortality, aerial dominance, and support capability make it one of the most overpowered survivability-based fruits in the entire franchise. Uo no Mi, Model Seiryu. The Uo no Mi, Model Seiryu is a mythical zone-type devil fruit used by Kaido, one of the 4 emperors of the New World. This fruit allows the user to transform into a full azure dragon or a hybrid dragon-human form. Despite its name, the fruit is based on the Eastern dragon myth, classifying it as one of the most powerful mythical zoans ever introduced. In its full transformation, the fruit grants immense physical size, strength, and durability, far surpassing standard zoan enhancements. The user gains the ability to fly by creating flame clouds, which can also be used to lift massive objects, including entire islands. The dragon form allows the user to unleash devastating elemental attacks, including intense fire blasts, cutting wind scythes, lightning generation, and massive shockwaves produced through roars and movement. The Uo no Mi, Model Seiryu, also provides extreme survivability. As a mythical zoan, it grants accelerated recovery and exceptional endurance, allowing the user to withstand prolonged battles against multiple high-level opponents. The hybrid form balances speed, power, and control, making it ideal for close-quarters combat while retaining access to elemental techniques. Through its combination of raw physical dominance, elemental versatility, flight, and near-unmatched durability, the fruit stands as one of the most overpowered devil fruits in the One Piece world. Hito no Mi, Model Nika. The Hito no Mi, Model Nika is a mythical zoan-type devil fruit eaten by Monkey D. Luffy. Its true identity was deliberately erased by the world government, who renamed and reclassified it as the Gomu Gomu no Mi to hide its existence. Under this false classification, the fruit was believed to be a paramecia that granted the user a rubber body, turning them into a so-called rubber human. In reality, the fruit is tied to the legendary sun god Nika, a figure associated with liberation and freedom, and its true nature was never officially recorded in history. Before awakening, the fruit grants extreme elasticity, resistance to blunt force, and abnormal biological flexibility. The user's body can stretch, compress, inflate, and contort in ways that defy normal anatomy, allowing combat techniques that would be fatal to ordinary humans. These rubber-like properties form the foundation of the fruit's power, even while its true zone classification remains dormant. Upon awakening, the fruit's full abilities manifest. The user gains the power to treat their body, surroundings, and even opponents as rubber-like matter. Terrain can be bent, stretched, compressed, or weaponized, while attacks can be reflected, absorbed, or reshaped through elasticity rather than brute defense. The fruit's power scales with imagination instead of rigid mechanics, overlapping zoan transformation, Paramecia-style environmental manipulation, and Logia-like damage negation. This combination makes the Hito no Mi, Model Nika, the most unpredictable and uncontrollable devil fruit in the series.